What up, YouTube? This is just going to be a quick update on what last week at my coding bootcamp looked like, what I learned about, and why I still think it's worth it. Let's get into it. So last week we talked about inheritance, polymorphism, managing inheritance, and unit testing. And last week I learned a lot because we're getting into a lot of the things that I have not experienced in my own self-taught journey. I understand some of the concepts, but it's been really good because now we're getting into stuff that I don't feel as confident with, and it's been testing my mental fortitude. And I like that, because I know that when I'm being tested like this and things are a little more difficult and I'm struggling a little bit more, then I know that I'm learning. And that's always a good thing, because the whole point of this isn't to get a certificate. It's for me to learn the skills that I need to be a good and productive software development in my role. With this, we learned about how classes in Java can extend from other ones, how they can interface with, and how we take objects and we can morph them into what we need. So I can have an object that has these certain attributes, if you will. We used animal. Animal was our thing for understanding inheritance, right? Like animals eat, animals breathe. You know, these are things that can be inherited by dogs, cats, different things like that. And that's kind of how we reinforced learning inheritance and why it's important. That stuff was very, very difficult for me. And I could pass the test, but I don't know if I understand it fully, right? So it's like I could do enough to get the work done, but I don't know if I have a real good understanding of it. And that's okay, because like I said before, you're not going to learn this overnight. And I accept that, right? Like, I've learned enough that I understand it. If it got brought up to me, I at least have a good, okay, that's not brand new to me. My favorite thing of this last week was unit testing, just because I know a few people that are, they do QA, right? And I know that is a possible job, right, is writing tests. And it's really cool to look at the code and really think of it a different way. And we were using JUnit for unit testing in Java, and just figuring out how the user thinks, right? Or not necessarily how the user thinks, but just thinking about all the different ways that when I'm writing code and I'm thinking of my happy trail, all the ways it could go wrong was kind of cool, because you can think of all kinds of different things. And I don't know, I found it really exciting. It was really cool. And I know for a fact that this is a very, very valuable thing to learn. And I was really excited about it because I've never ran tests before. And this is just cool having to write them and learning how to do all that. I really did enjoy it this week. Looking over what we got for next week, we're going to do some more. We're going to do exception handling, file IO reading, file IO writing, and I think we have a capstone project next week. Kind of excited about that, because I feel like when I'm doing projects, I learn the most. I know when I think about this last year and a half of me learning by myself, when I was doing projects was always the time that I learned the most. Right. And not only the learning the most, but also I retained the most from the project, especially the stuff that I broke, I didn't understand. I had to take to Jerome at Vets Who Code, and he had to show me what I was doing wrong, or my buddy RJ. They had to show me what was going on or what I did wrong. And I just know projects are invaluable, right? I know they're super important on this, is that building projects, it not only gives you something to show the employer, but it also just, it retains information. And I seen something on Twitter today. I don't know, it resonated with me because my first 9 months was kind of like this. And it said, the reason you suck at being a software engineer is because you keep building easy projects. And I was like, man, I resonated with that a little bit, because I did that for a long time, and I still kind of do too, because of fear, right? But I've stepped out of it a little bit more than I did in the past. But that did resonate with me. And that's what my last week looked like. That's what my next week looks like. I updated my resume, updated my LinkedIn. I think in a couple weeks, I'm going to start applying to jobs and try to get interviews, because I want to secure employment pretty quickly after boot camp, because I don't have a whole lot of leeway. But we'll make this happen one way or another. So thanks for joining me. Later.